We live? We good? We're all right? We are here.
What is up, Geeks Geekettes? It's another edition of the Countdown to the Geekcast. My name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this amazing live stream we got for you guys is that guy Tommy.
Yo.
And joining us from the Morphinominal Expo group, that Love Muffin. What's going on, bro?
What's going on?
We're a little behind the scenes. We've been trying to do this for weeks, and our schedules have been all over the place. It's like, hey, we could do it this week. Oh no, wait, something major in the report.
Yeah. That's how it always goes.
Or something in the actual world happens, and everyone's afraid for their lives. Anyway. Favorite joke from Team 4-Star was when all their videos got hit with copyright strikes, and I think it was Kaiser Neko said, "Hey, Letty, how are things on the main channel?" And it cut to like a cutout of a building, and Lanny screaming, "Everything's on fire!" So I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of how the past few weeks have been going."
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, Retro Ray!
Last but not least, the one and only Retro Ray. What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Rocking the Yankees hat like always. Love it.
Nice.
Yep, Daredevil.
Oh, San Antonio Nerd Coalition's in the chat.
What is up, brother? Good to see you, my friend. How was I didn't get a chance to make it out to Nemesis Fest, but
Me neither. I wanted to so bad, but I was busy all that.
Let us know how it was, man. I know Ray, you made it out for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I had stopped by for a little bit, but they were on lunch. And then by the time I got back there, had to leave a little bit early.
I gotcha.
Yeah. It was
cool.
Cool.
That's awesome, man. We got a great show for you folks. It's been a minute since we've had a live stream. It's also been a minute since we've had a Marvel TV show discussion. So the first part of our conversation here, we're actually going to be talking all about the Morphinominal Expo and all the crazy stuff they got going on. And then the second half of this stream, we're actually going to dive into the 2-episode premiere of Daredevil Born Again. And if you're like me, you just finished watching it, and damn, some stuff happened that I did not expect to happen, and I'm still in my feelings right now. So not gonna spoil anything just yet.
I need to catch up with that second episode. Then I need to.
Yeah. I was gonna say full disclosure, since I get off work late and I forgot today was March 4th, because literally that's how this year has been going. I forgot to try to not to schedule. I actually planned to schedule to get off work early so I could come home and watch that, and I completely forgot. But yeah. So but also just so you guys will know, sometime this week, if not on my channel tonight or tomorrow, like after the WrestleCast, Suikoden had a huge live event with Konami yesterday, with so much stuff that they came out with. So I'm going to be discussing all that because it's huge, but that's for another time.
And to kind of piggyback off the stuff that Tommy is going to be doing, Tommy's panel with David Yost that he recorded is now live on our YouTube channel. So go check out Tommy living his best life, talking to OG Blue Ranger, Billy, David Yost, who's just one of the best guys. He's just one.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I'm glad we used this to say more phenomenal, because growing up, while of course racially I gravitated to Zach, personality-wise, I was Billy all day long. I was the nerd everyone knew. I still am. I was the nerd everyone knew. I was literally the kid that students, parents, and I kid you not, teachers would ask other students to help with their homework and their study. I'm not kidding. I was that guy. So, which was funny because even though I was a nerd, everyone kind of knew me in high school, but they just knew me as a smart kid. So
Not bad, not bad.
Muffin, did you
it never helped me get a date though. But it just that's everyone knew.
Muffin? Who's your favorite out of the OG crew?
Just to piggyback off that, pretty much was actually in reverse. Zach. Zach was one of my favorites. That's the one I kind of felt most relatable to for some reason. I think it's mostly the dancing and the hip hop kido. I always be trying to break dance back in the day, and then also when I was in karate as well. So I was like, oh, that's two of the stuff I like. I'm gonna try to do that as well. I am sure I didn't look nowhere near as smooth as Zach did though.
That was the first time I seen that outside of like what was it? The Last Dragon.
That's one of my favorite movies, man.
For my entire family, it's like a rite of passage. When you hit a certain age, you have to watch Last Dragon, and you have to love it, or else.
I actually came across that one by accident on a bootleg VHS that like my parents had. Like they had all these bootleg VHS with all these movies on there, so I was like, okay, Last Dragon, because I was like really into kung fu back then. It's like that's obviously that's karate. That's probably a Bruce Lee movie, and I'm watching. I'm like, what is this? But just fell in love with it like immediately.
My dad too, but my brother's the biggest kung fu karate movie fan that I know.
Right.
Period. Like I don't know any bigger fan than him. And Last Dragon is his all-time favorite movie. You know.
I think it's under. It needs to see more eyes. It needs its flowers.
Oh, man.
I'm glad that I'm seeing it like pop up more in pop culture and stuff.
Yeah. I got to meet T-Mac
really?
once at a small location. Yeah, he was a super nice dude. Yeah, but you're right. The movie does not get enough credit. It's got great action, music, and it's got one of the best villains ever made.
Man.
If he's not one of the best villains in all of cinema, I just don't know who's on your list.
I agree, man. He'd be killing it right now if they brought that movie out right now.
Man, like, dude, he there would be so many shown up cosplays.
Exactly.
Come on right now, it'd be amazing. Every single con would have a shown up somewhere, and I would.
I agree.
So what's funny is you and Billy brought up like first crushes because everybody said Kimberly, you said Trini.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and say Vanity in the Last Dragon.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, wait, what? These people exist? This is a human being? What? They look this nice? What is this? What are these feelings?
So when I was younger and first saw Last Dragon, I didn't appreciate that. When I got older and rewatched it, I was like, oh, okay. I missed something about this film.
Dude, you should have seen her in Action Jackson, dude. That was even better when she was in
Action Jackson. Yeah.
That's something else I saw years later, and I was like, I was missing things as a child. I had to grow up. we had a VHS copy of that too. Though I think about it.
Oh man,
I couldn't watch it until when I was younger. My parents monitored me very closely, which is why I couldn't play Mortal Kombat either.
Wow.
All that to say, go check out Tommy's panel with David Yost. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
they're the best. David's such a nice guy. He's great. And also live on our YouTube channel, Ray just did an interview with Jonathan Jordan Medina, who plays Scorpion in the brand new Spider-Man animated show on Disney Plus. Also, just one of the best guys. So interviews left and right. We're trying to keep up with all of them, and there's going to be like 50 more in the next week. So I don't know how we're gonna manage all this stuff, but we're excited. South by Southwest is just around the corner, and then we're gonna be gearing up for Morphinominal after that. So that Love Muffin, you guys must be stoked. You guys must be excited. What is the camp like right now? What are y'all going through?
It's a lot of anxiety, but excitement right now as we near it. In fact, if I look up the website, I think I can tell you how many days it is, and then it's exactly 24 days, 11 hours, 3 minutes, and 28 seconds. Every time I look at it, I get a little flutter in my chest. Just like, we got so much to do, but that's how it always is towards the end of crunch time. But we're more excited than anything, man, because this is going to be a great year with phenomenal guests, more phenomenal guests. It's got my favorites this year, the ones I've personally fought for a lot to get. I'm excited. I'm probably the most excited out of all of them. The whole gang's ready. We're
That's
here.
awesome.
We're ready to hang out with everyone. Ready to see you guys. Just
Yeah,
it's always a good time.
It's always a
yeah.
great time.
It's fun. It's fun. It is funny because when you guys first promoted it, you promoted it as Mini More Phenomenal, which I was like, all right, cool, Mini More Phenomenal. And then like the first name that was
Was
revealed
Monica
was
May?
Monica May, and I was like, I don't give a damn how small this is. If there's room for you to let one fan in, I will punch someone to get them out of my way. Because in case you haven't noticed, I love Yellow Rangers, and she's in my top
I
list.
agree, man.
So you guys said you. It's fun. It's funny. My joke was after you guys said that's like and Monica May. I was like, the list can stop. The list can stop right there, and it's just like, where's my credit card?
It was
Take my credit
supposed to
card.
stop at like probably 2 or 3 guests, but just we already
Yeah.
know ourselves and we kind of knew it was coming. We even made jokes about it. We're like, well, Defi, Adam better. We say that, but he better not be asking other people to come. And then sure enough, left and right, we're like, well, if you can make it, why not? Sure. Someone would ask, can y'all have room for us at our show? Yeah, we can make that work. And then it just snowballs every year. That's how it goes every year. We're like, all right, we're done. We need to cut it out because we need a budget. We need to like make sure we have room for everybody. And the next thing we know, one of us comes out. We're like, oh, hey, someone signed on to be on the show, so we got to make room for them now. We're like, oh, okay.
I think last year was probably one of the most insane years since I
Yeah,
started going.
yeah.
that you guys had. But with the original Zero Rangers from back in the day, I was like, I don't even know how that's
Never in
possible.
my
that You guys
life.
got them in San Antonio, Texas. At Crossroads Mall of all places, I met the original.
What a hell of
I
a
was like,
story.
so, that's my profile picture.
Yeah,
on
as it
Facebook,
should. No, yeah, it's crazy, man. We just never
man.
since the beginning, let alone any Japanese guest, because I'm more into the Super Sentai than the Power Ranger aspects of it all,
Fair enough.
And never thought I would be having those guests. That was always just a pipe dream. I'd be like, what? That would have been cool, right? And then on top of that, to get the original, like like the ones for Mighty Morphin, never would have crossed my mind. If you told me that was gonna happen, I would have just laughed in your face and be like, okay, yeah, whatever, man. We need to security, come get this one out real quick.
It's like, dude, you're crazy.
And then we got both. Yeah, exactly, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think when the names got announced, I think I had a moment of like shut up, no way.
I was too when Adam
No
said
way.
he's like you're gonna be
No
proud
way.
of me, man. He's like, you're gonna be happy. We got the original green and pink ranger, and I was like, what do you mean? Like the original? Like we got Amy Joe John. Like, what do you mean? He's like, no, the Japanese guest, man. I was like, all right, cool. So anyways, what did you want to call me about? And he's like, no, for real. Like, look, and then they showed me, and I was like, just like, no way, man.
And he kept talking to
He's
you.
like, yeah, and then I'm just right down the ground, just
you're
exactly.
with the phone in your hand. Oh man, yeah, because tell us what you're bringing in, man. Like, just run down the list for the.
Oh yeah, we got a good for this year. Oh, dude, we got of course. You already know we got Monica May. Just woo, we were supposed to get her last year, but then like scheduling conflicts happened, and we asked a little too late. So she was going to be busy. So I was like, I guess maybe another time. I didn't think it was going to be so soon. So I'm super excited. We got one of my other favorites from one of my favorite seasons, which is Lightspeed Rescue. We got Red Fisher, the Titanium Ranger.
Yes.
American made, bro.
Yeah.
So exciting. And then Christy Ann was one that I kind of wanted from like basically when that season was coming out. I wanted to get Peter and Christy Ann because they were one of my favorites because I saw a little bit of it. But they didn't really do much convention. Well, Christy didn't do much convention. So I was like, okay, if there's ever a chance. And then somehow, she wants to chance it out with us. So we couldn't be more happy about that. So I know our people are going to show up and show out for them, give them a good time. And then, of course, we got Yasuhisa Furahara, my all-time favorite from everything, because my favorite Power Rangers one is RPM. I have a black RPM helmet and a red one that I need to finish. I got a lot of figures here. He's my RPM was my favorite in American Power Ranger ones, and then Go Andra was my favorite Super Sentai one.
Mhm.
And so it's just top dog right there. Is that Red Ranger? The helmet's one of my favorite helmets. He's got some of the coolest
Yeah.
attitude in the show, and in real life, to me, because a lot of people like Captain Marvel is from Gokaiger, the Super Mega Force One,
Yeah.
saying he's like the one with swag and stuff. To me, Yasuhisa is that in real life, man. Every time I see him, he brings great
Yeah.
energy, no matter who it is, whether it's people that know him or don't. He's just always on, and he's gonna be a fun time. I already know. They all are. So I'm super excited for this
Oh,
lineup
yeah.
this year.
I laugh because I remember when people mention RPM compared to Go Andre, how like they are like so
Worlds
vastly
apart,
different.
man. That's why they're
And
both
I
so at the top, because they're at the top for so many different reasons,
yeah, because then I saw clips of Go Andre and I was like, how did RPM get that
The
series from this
goofiest
joyful mess?
season
It's
out
like it's a
there.
joyful, happy show, and RPM is like, hey, this is everything possible went wrong.
Exactly. Got a post-apocalyptic horror, basically horror here, and then you
Yeah,
got the Three Stooges on this one over here.
yeah. I was like. So who would they kill with RPM and said, I'm having a bad day,
And they
and
just
it's
went
all
with
of your
it.
problems.
It's crazy how they did that.
and then the producers just said, okay,
Went
and then
with
just
it.
went, and
Yeah.
just made the show. Oh man, so I mean, you mentioned how excited you are. It's just and the anxiety. Well, how does that like? Is it? Are you feeling it more or less than previous years, or is it about the same? What do you
I
think?
would say a little slightly higher, just because of
Okay.
who we're bringing, and usually we kind of bring one or two that don't. We try to bring one that's like
Yeah.
doesn't really do conventions, and that's kind of like our big get that we get excited about, and that's the one we kind of like bite our
Right.
nails into, be like, we hope they do good. We hope not just like
Yeah.
in like people wise, just like we hope that they have a good time and are just like, hey, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all about. Is just everyone having a good time. For us, it's never about money or anything
For
like
sure.
that. It's to meet new people. And we've had some rangers say like, this is the most fun I've had in a con in a while, whether it's because they hit the after party or just the interactions they get,
Yeah.
which they don't normally get because they get a lot more families with ours and like other ones, since taking a family to like a convention's expensive. So that's why we
Yeah.
like to pride ourselves, and we do our best. We hit some obstacles this year. I think that's kind of what helped build a little of the anxiety, that we had to kind of like sacrifice ourselves like and stuff on our end to keep making sure that we make it pretty affordable for everybody and like to make everybody
Yeah.
happy. But again, we have like what, 3 4, pretty much every single one here hasn't really done much conventions or been to San Antonio in one form or another. So we're just like,
Yeah.
this is a whole new batch here. But I'm always confident in our people. They always show up at the end. So it's just more us being in our heads, I would say.
I was gonna say last couple years, like I know that I get that being a concern, but last couple years, man, you guys had lines all the way down Wonderland, man. Like the line to get into the area was always just stretched down all the way and looped around the building.
Especially last year's, and
Last year's for sure.
every time it still surprises me, because we're like, oh, we hope people come, and then we see like a few, like 10 or so people in the morning. We're like, okay, decent. We're not okay. Can't get mad at that. And then we go do some other stuff. We come back. We're like, God, what happened here?
Yeah.
We're like, well, okay. And then that's when we usually sigh our sigh of relief, and we're like, okay, it's gonna be a good weekend.
Yeah.
Now let's have fun,
Yeah,
But it's
San
always
Antonio's not an early crowd by any stretch.
that's what we always forget
Yeah.
about, especially because even we're always late too. We're like, why are we surprised? We're not even here on time.
I mean, you gotta get the tacos
Exactly.
first,
That's
man.
literally why.
Then you
Exactly.
go do everything. Yeah, you gotta go you gotta get tacos first, then you go do everything.
Exactly.
Matt and Morphin's in the chat saying Rhett is who he's most excited about. If you're watching right now, based on the talent that's already been announced, like who are you most excited to see? We just want to get a gauge from everybody on what your hype level is. Gabe's in the chat saying I showed my 8-year-old son the flyer, and he proceeded to tell me about each one. That's what it's all about. He's so excited. He can't stop talking about them. Thank you. Awesome.
That's exactly what it's about, man. That's the stuff I love to see.
Let me warn Gabe that as a 36-year-old man, it doesn't stop at 8. It keeps going because I'll tell you guys this quick story. A coworker of mine, knowing I'm a comic book nerd, she asked me one question, and I felt so bad after I stopped talking because I said, "I'm sorry, you asked me a question, and you wanted a can this person win answer. You did not ask for a dissertation of the reasons as to why." She asked me if Superman could beat Omni-Man, and I gave her all the reasons why I thought Superman would dog walk Omni-Man in an instant. So I told her, "I'm sorry, you didn't ask for that. You asked to say
Just
who would win this fight, and I would
you gotta
stop
break it
talking."
down
So,
though. You gotta let them know why. You gotta come
yeah,
with the facts.
yeah. And also the funny part is, even funnier is last year, my parents and my sister snuck in on me while I was hosting the panel for Campbell Cooley, who I
Mate,
love
yeah, I
Campbell
love
Cooley.
that
He's
guy.
these always great to talk to, and Michael Argato, and I put them on the spot then. But then they asked the question of like how they for a grandma like her who still fangirls over Power Rangers, and they loved her from that moment on.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so I'm gonna try to get my parents to come out again because they had such a fun time last year. So and that's the other thing to me about, like, I think you don't have to worry about the crowds because Power Rangers, it has generational appeal across the board, man. I have met very few people who don't like Power Rangers in some shape, form, or fashion.
It's true. That's true.
John's also in the chat
What have been
saying Rhett and Monica,
Red and
he's
John,
most
John,
excited to
you and me,
see.
we're right here, dude.
I think that's going to
Yeah.
be the answer that most people probably give out for this
Monica,
one.
I think, is gonna be the
Yeah.
biggest draw, honestly.
For sure. Well, I think really between her and Rhett, because I
It's true.
think the funny part is I think you got actors from some of the most memorable seasons of Power Rangers and Super Sentai, because Lightspeed Rescue was like, not at all what any of us were expecting when
Right.
that came out. SPD was about the same as Lightspeed Rescue in that regard, and Ninja Steel felt like, I won't say a return to form, but it definitely felt like a mix
And
of
new
old
school,
school
right?
and
Yeah,
new.
yeah. That's what I liked about
Yeah,
it.
and yeah, and Go On Joe, of course, its legacy, like you already pointed out, just cemented. So it's like I think you got like actors from some of the best seasons of the series entirely, both sides.
I hope so, man. Because that's what we always try to do. Give something a little bit different, something that's with the new. We haven't done really more of the newer ones in a minute, so that's why we're like, let's get Ninja Steel. It's a good little stepping stone for some
Yeah.
of the newer ones. Plus, like like you said, it had a good mixture of the old and new. So I think that was a good season to try to go for. And then just, of course, most were for me. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, hey, if I were running a convention, I would absolutely try to book people that were for me. It's like, well, I want to see these
Exactly.
people.
We
I
try
don't
to
know what
bring
the
the
rest
ones
of
we
y'all
want to
want
see
to
because
do.
that's the whole
Yeah.
foundation of it all from the beginning. It's like, because that's when Mighty MMPR was kind of like starting off, like right when the Rangers were starting to come out of the woodwork from all that Jason David Frank was doing for the con
Yeah.
circuit. So we're like, okay, that's cool, but we've seen them already. Like, man, when are they gonna bring like my favorite ones? Like, because I love SPD and
I love that.
and then
Yeah,
RPM came out, and I kind of went more with that one. But SPD and RPM both are up there, very tight. But yeah, so we're like, we got to change it up. We got to bring some of the people we want to bring because we can't afford to go to PMC, and then like some of us have families, and we're like, we definitely can't go to PMC.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's a dream of mine someday. It ain't gonna be this year, that's for sure. But it's gonna be one.
it is worth checking out once. They had the good graces
Yeah.
of taking us in one year, and we went there to just kind of check it out. It was a fun time. I really liked the field trip to go see everything, and I finally got my
That's awesome.
childhood dream that I gave up on that I never thought would happen. And that's to be at the command center. So I got my picture right there in front of me,
Yeah.
like just chilling in front of the command center. There's my wallpaper on like everything.
The number of times I told myself as a child I was gonna be a Power
I
Ranger
feel
when I grew up.
that.
You even told
Well, I
David
could-
Yost that too. I was like, wow, Tommy's revealing everything here.
well, look. Because it's pointless to lie about it. Because if you knew me from ages like 6 to maybe 10, what was I going to be when I grew up? If the words Power Rangers were the first thing that flew out of my mouth, clearly I was a clone, and my parents had to go find the real me, because that was the standard answer that I gave. Because that's how into it I was as a kid. I couldn't be a Transformer. I wasn't a robot. I couldn't be a Thundercat. I wasn't from there. So, like,
Okay, fair, yeah.
So I
That's
could be
all.
a Power Ranger.
All logical thinking there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I could be a Power Ranger. I had attitude. I was 8 at the time.
Yeah,
but
so
I
you
had
got the attitude. So yeah, that's all you need.
That's why, when I hit high school, I was like, any day now. It never happened. I was like, oh.
Oh, I feel that.
If you're just joining us,
Yeah.
we are just over 3 weeks away from Morphinominal Expo 2025 at the Wonderland of the Americas. If you haven't been, it's right in the center of north of San Antonio. Free parking,
Yeah.
free to get in. For more information, go to morphinominaltexas.com. You can also follow Morphinominal Expo across social media. And if they have any more surprises in store, that's where they're going to drop it first. And we'll be sure to spread the word as soon as anything else drops. Tommy, who was your favorite panel from last year? Because you did a handful, and I'm going to tell you what my favorite moment was.
Man.
But who was your favorite panel from last year?
It's so hard to pick because because like I said, the Campbell and Michael one was probably my favorite because that's when my family snuck in on me and I don't think they'd ever seen me do a panel before, so that was pretty cool. But Catherine Sutherland was such a sweetheart and she was really cool. So that might have been those two because it's so hard to pick. But yeah. I don't know. It's hard to pick, but those are two of my favorites.
I was gonna say it was a
Oh,
special
what were
moment
you
when
gonna say?
your mom actually like stood up and just kind of told everybody like, that's my son and this is the world that he's been telling me about for decades and now I'm in it right now, and she was so excited and
Yeah.
like everybody just fell in love with her right away.
Oh yeah. Well, see, in a roundabout way, my mom was kind of the reason I got into Power Rangers because she is a gigantic Godzilla fan.
That's where you got it from. Wow.
So yeah, so she loves Godzilla a ton. And when we saw this show, colorful costumes, monsters, giant robots, and she could tell it was kid friendly. That's when she started watching it a lot with me. Now she knew a lot about it. My dad, who was sitting there, was probably like, "So this is the stuff they've been talking about for the past 30 years that I haven't been able to get any peace about." But he can't talk much because he also fed my obsession because he kept buying me toys whenever I get good grades. By the way, as a kid, I stayed on the A, B, or straight A honor roll. So he always had the condition where if my grades were stayed up high, he would get me toys. By the time I got out of middle school, my room was ridiculous.
It's a good motivator.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he regretted that. And I think when I got my first C, he was like, "Thank God I gotta buy nothing this next week." And he was like, "I mean, you better bring that grade up. I don't want to see that C anymore." And then I brought out the next 6 weeks. He was like, "Damn it, why did I say that?"
John in the chat saying, "Be the Red Ranger every year, and no one else could be the Red Ranger." And then
Straight
he goes
up.
on further. It says, "Red Ranger kind of was my favorite." Really, you don't say?
You know what? He stuck in for a minute and was just saying stuff, and I had to run him off.
Wait, whoa, I missed this. What happened?
No, yeah, it happened right before you walked in. I think it was for Catherine Sutherland's panel. He was sitting there just talking, and I said, "You get your
best panel." Period.
That was hilarious. I ain't gonna lie. Zero Benjamin. Yeah, that one was so cool. Brandon and Andrew did great. That was a good panel. That was really cool. Getting to talk to them, and that's the other thing about the Morphinominal is also to see like what they've been doing since then, like what great memories they have like from the show and from fans. It's always cool to see from their perspective, because as we watch me as fans from this side, it's one thing. It is cool to see what it was like on the other side of the screen, other side of the camera for them.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever they told you any interesting stories that you've heard, Muffin? Like anything like you're like, "Well, wow, that happened on set." So
pretty much what I heard was pretty much repeated on the panels. Really,
got it.
They're pretty open books. I found is what I've ended up finding out doing these shows. They're gonna put it out there. So
yeah. I guess because a lot of them also are mad at Saban.
Exactly. So that's all it is. Is just talking crap about it. That's pretty much it.
They can finally have their unabashed revenge. One bad at it.
It is always it's one of those things, man. Tommy, you've interviewed more Power Rangers than I can think of, but I'm like, if I was to ever interview somebody, I would never bring up Saban. Like, just that's like a bad. That's like a trigger word. You.
Oh, dude, I don't even mention it. They volunteer it. I don't even talk about it. I will talk about like, well, what was the show like? And then like I've had it more than once. They said, and then damn Saban. I didn't even think. Like, and like if you ever see me do this, like I just do this. that means like I wasn't even trying to go that way with that question.
Like I said, they're open books, man.
I've never seen David get attitude, in an interview, but when he was talking about Saban with your panel, like, oh man, never pissed off David Yost.
Dude, that honestly, like I said, that was a great panel. I would love to do it again. He's a great guy, but yeah, he was upset. I could tell. I was up there, and I was like, dude, just so you know, he's not here. They're not here.
Probably for the better.
Yeah, they're not here. You're all good, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, but
you guys have another announcement. Want to make sure we call out.
Oh, for sure.
Here we go. Greg Aronowitz.
Yeah.
A showrunner for SPD and has a lot of the props, which I'm hoping he brings the dog.
I was kind of
yeah, because if he has the one where like it folds into the blaster, I gotta have a picture with that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
See, for me, this is more of the stuff that excites me as well too. So because I love a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, and because back then I always wanted to try to make my own movies, but it's a lot of work. So I had a friend that would always teach me how to like make some props and all that, and it just got me really interested. So I'm really excited to hear some of the stories he's got to share. Because he says he has some, and then he says him and Monica always have a good time, and they like to reminisce about the old days, and they say they have some crazy stories. So I'm excited to hear what that's about and what they got, So
that's awesome.
So it's going to be, a real good time, even with just the people from behind the scenes. I'm excited for Greg, and we'll just, we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah. And it's always the cool thing is it's not just the actors that you guys get, but it's also like I said, the behind the scenes people, the voice actors, the prop people, the directors, everything, showrunners. It's always great to see because like they have just as many stories, if not more, than the actors do, and it just helps connect the fans to the series more.
Ray, who are you excited to see, Ray?
The Pink Ranger. She hasn't done very many shows, but I don't know if you guys follow her like on Instagram and stuff. She likes guns.
That she does.
She's coming to a good place in Texas because that's what we carry here in Texas. So,
or she's coming to Texas. So yeah. So,
but I mean, even
she likes guns. She's gonna have a good time.
Me and Tommy interviewed Melissa Flores, and Melissa Flores had access to a lot of those props. And when they auctioned off a lot of the outfits, she posted on Twitter she had Goldar's head in her office for a long time.
Wow!
And I was like, if I would have known that in the interview that me and Tommy had with her, I would have bought that up, but it didn't even get there because we were talking about the comic. But I mean, I'm pretty sure she has more stories to talk about behind the scenes
for sure
that we didn't even get to bring up in that hour that we just talked about the Power Ranger comic. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What were you guys thought about it, the whole auctioning off about all the props?
I get it from a practical standpoint. But I still would have contacted the original actors first to say, do you either want to make it? I don't know. I guess I'm too much of a sentimental guy, and I'd have been like, yeah, do you want this? So
okay.
But that's just me.
Muffin and Tommy, if you had the cash, what would you have dropped your money on?
What I had my eyes on, which was the whole helmet lot of every single RPM helmet. All of them, the whole set, and I was like, 500 for the whole thing would be great. Of course, they've got bumped up like crazy, but
I can't even say Muffin has a set, what he knows what he wants. I can't even say for sure what I would have done because I say the same thing to everyone. If I ever win the lottery, I'm not going to tell everyone, but there will be signs. You will see immediately. And one of the signs will be, if I win the lottery, I'm calling Morphinominal the very next day and saying, so how do I get in as an investor? Because we're doing this. And we're bringing in people that I want to bring in.
Easy. That guy's Tommy's Morphinominal will be on the banner.
Yeah. No, I can still say Morphinominal.
On the top right there. Sponsored by that guy, Tommy. Countdown City Geeks, of course.
As an aside.
So Tommy, it would change. It'd be Tommy
kindness.
City Geeks. It would just be Tommy on everything.
Tommy City Geeks Morphinominal. There you
go. His face is the logo. That's all it is for the report. Yeah.
So Ted.
Now that being said, all the breakfast and stuff, that would just be me. You guys are invited. Okay. I'm kidding.
So Ted, I know you're a Tommy fan. So what would you have spent money on if you were able to buy any of that stuff?
Gosh, I think either like the screen used Dragon Dagger, probably something like that. One of the Megazord or the Dinozord, sort of. There you go.
Nice.
One of the props that they use maybe for the Dragon Zord, even the like I don't even know, just something from the set. I'd want something from the set.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I got to ask you guys. Of course, the Toy Fair just passed this weekend, and there was all the news of the new toys dropping. I got to ask. Okay, I know what they're doing. They're bringing in the younger generations because the toys aren't around for the younger kids to get into it. So I see why they're making those figures that they're making, is to bring in the younger generation so they could play with them. They don't have to worry about breaking them. I see it. I mean, the cool helmets for the masks for the kids, those were cool. I mean, what did you guys think of the stuff they dropped?
Kids nowadays get everything, and it's like there's a bunch of spoiled little rotten kids get everything. They don't even appreciate what the.
Preach, Tommy, preach.
I just think they're kind of lucky, honestly, because they I love it because there was I saw an old news clip once of the craze that Power Ranger toys had back in the 90s. And I know this craze specifically because, believe it or not, I have a story about that directly involves what I'm holding in my hand. When the original toy Dragon Dagger came out, my family looked everywhere for it and couldn't find it, except for my big sister, the same one who came to Morphinominal. She found the original Dragon Dagger and got it for Christmas. I love that thing. I played with it till I broke it. But my whole family was mad at her that year for my birthday because she found that and they couldn't. And that was my favorite toy for the rest of that year.
Right.
But it's like you said, Ray. I know they're just bringing in new fans, but I hope to me, it's like one of those things where I hope it's successful. That way, they finally do more with the IP. So
exactly.
They can, bring it back. Do. If they want to make their own series, fine. They want to do another remake of one of the Sentais. Sure, I think this latest one looks pretty good, but I don't know. So we were wrong. I just saw Maddie's comment.
Cedric's in the chat saying, "Hey," and Maddie says we were robbed of Rita.
I don't remember you Rita toys at all. So
right? Actually. That I agree with.
And this comment is funnier because my dad has an entire toy collection that I already knew growing up I couldn't play with, but my nieces and nephews, his grandkids, had, when they were children especially, had the hardest time accepting they couldn't touch.
Okay. For me, what got me was, okay, mind you, back in the day, I mean, I was late teen, wasn't a younger kid. So I couldn't wear Power Rangers mask. But dude, did you see those masks they made, kind of like the Chewbacca mask that they're making for the kids? Dude, they're way better quality.
Oh, yeah. Instead of those flimsy paper plates that dug into your eyes.
Yeah.
Way loads better, man. I
Yeah.
wish we
Oh,
had
yeah.
those growing
Yeah.
up for
Like I
sure.
said, kids nowadays they just get everything. We got the dangerous toys that damaged our kids permanently, and we were thankful for it. Damn it.
Oh man, I mean, I can see them bringing, the comic that's going on right now, the Power Ranger Prime. That's a great read
It
if
is.
you haven't read
Pick
it.
up a copy. You guys have it.
I hear it is.
and then,
I need to pick
you
that
know,
up.
oh
It's so
yeah,
good.
and then VR Troopers that they're introducing, it's
Right.
great stuff. But I can see them relaunching, Mighty Morphin in animated series, since they really can't. I mean, you think about it right now, the cartoons for younger kids are popular right
Right.
now. So I can see kind of introducing them to there and then gradually growing up and going to seeing the originals, kind of like us, where we saw the Power Rangers here. If you didn't watch Super Sentai, you didn't know about them. But then once you did,
You kind
kinda
of went to go look
gravitated
for
to
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can kind of see what they're working on. I mean, and if they do it right, I can see where
No,
they
of
can
course, because even
Yeah,
with the
sure.
comics, man, I've met some people that told me, like, honestly, like, I knew Power Rangers was around and I saw it as a kid, but it never really piqued my interest. But reading these comics, like, I went back and started checking out these other seasons just to see what it was about, and I'm really digging them now and stuff. So like, all of it just kind of like intertwines in a way. So that's why I'm like not too mad. And then after I heard they were gonna focus on a kids line, I'm like, okay, this makes sense now. And honestly, the villains don't even look that bad. Like that Babu and Squat, I want to get it for myself, man. They look pretty good to me. Not gonna lie.
Okay, what are you liking about have any of y'all had a chance to catch any of the new stuff that's just dropped?
The Megazord, the buildable Megazord, I do want to get. My only gripe would probably be the pterodactyl one. For the price point for what it is, because I'm like, it's just kind of like a really thin piece of plastic.
Yeah.
And how they're throwing the minifigures with it, but I'm like, I guess it depends on the price itself, because it's literally just the shield part. You just click it. So
I just click it.
but the blaster I'm excited for. The Morpher, I'm like 50-50 on it still. I think I would have to see it in person to kind of get a good solid like
I don't think it'll be that expensive just because the way it looked and how small
Right.
it looked. I think it's more catered for the kids. So I don't think it's going to be too pricey, but the collectors and the scalpers.
Those are my biggest worries, as always. Because a lot of them don't even care. They're just like, whatever, take it, highest price hike. And I'm like, it's defeating the purpose.
Exactly. See, and that's the one thing about Phenomenal. And yeah, we have all these great conventions, San Diego, everything like that. Cost, you got to look at that. But the biggest thing, if you have a family, that's the biggest thing. If majority of the people have at least mom, dad, 2 kids minimum, that's pricey right there. I mean, here they have the opportunity. And the cool thing is when the families go to meet these people and they take a photo, it can be a family photo.
Exactly.
Pay the one price.
Exactly.
That's the smaller venue. It's more intimate. That to me helps in that aspect. But yeah, that More Phenomenal is on the right track with putting something like this
Appreciate
together.
that.
Especially since this is a niche community, and it's a very big community that people tend to oversee.
Right.
But it's there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's kind of what our show shows a lot of the actors, because they're like, wow, this is the most people I've had, or like, it's been a great turnout. What's up, Beth? But like it just they don't see that the appeal is there. But a lot of what hinders a lot of families is the price point for a lot of them, because some are just like, okay, adults are 60, kids we'll do 55. Like, okay, that's a big discount, thanks. And then when you have, like you said, a lot of people have some good, like at least minimum 3 to 4 people at a time go in there, and that's where most of your money's going. So now you're like, well, now there's $45 for an autograph, or 60 for a photo, and I'm like, I have to pick and choose. There they kind of keep a little bit of the extra money to be like, well, I can get both now, or I can see all these, more than one of my favorites, so having to like sacrifice one and kind of feel a little bummy about it, to be like, well, I guess maybe next time. Now they get a better opportunity to be like, wow, I get to see at least see them with my eyes, if anything else, for a pretty decent price. And like you said, I like that I get to see people families make their own family memories that way, because it's everybody taking a photo together. It's more intimate. They're always chatting it up. That is not just, and what I can say is that we've been fortunate with our guests so far that no one's really doing it for like, or I guess what I could say is like they don't really put up a face when they're doing it. Like they're not just being friendly just to be like, because I'll get more money out of this or something. Like they genuinely connect with the fans and they're chatting it up, and they come back to us later too. But like I had a lot of fun. Like it felt more like just hanging out with people, and then just being a meet and greet where I have to be like signing things. All right, cool, thanks, signing things, and like all right, next. They enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
They meet people. We've had people that became friends with some Rangers that just hung out there and they vibed. So you never know what could happen at Morphinominal, really. So
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's like I said about Campbell Cooley, that I first met him through More Phenomenal, and honestly, it's like every time I see that dude, it's like we just catch up whenever we see each other because he's such a nice dude, and I really do think that the appeal of it being smaller, if you want to use that term, like Ray said, because like I've seen people who say, or like I passed by people who say they flew in from somewhere, or they drove down because it was cheaper than going to another convention where we have to spend money to get in and the hotel, and then they can just and the event is practically free parking, more or less free to get in, and the only thing they worry about is the photo ops or
Right.
whatever's at the table and everything, and then they found all the money they saved, they can meet more people. So I think More Phenomenal has always had a great track record with not just the actors you guys bring in, but with the fans that love it so much. I think that's why you guys get such a huge crowd every year, and I'm glad to see it's getting bigger every year.
But not only that, they also do the little get-togethers at the VIP
Oh, yeah.
dinners, and
that's
unique. You don't get that very often.
yeah, it's we like the intimate settings of it all. So we're just like, what else can we do to make it worth people's money? And then people just brought up the idea, like you gotta maybe some VIP dinners, which started with the Japanese guests. They were like, that's what we do, and we're like, that's not a bad idea. Like, let's give that a shot, see how that goes. And that in itself was pretty fun. I got to see from the outside a little bit because we were all exhausted, and we're like, you know what, that's what they paid for. It's not our place to just be like crashing in and taking theirs. That's for them. That's for the fans. We'll just be over there and we'll just eat our tacos on this side and just kind of chill for a bit. But everybody that was there, they loved it, and then we got to see the photos after of everybody, and it looked like they had a really great time. And then the big group photo, everybody cheesing and smiling, and you could just tell you could just tell they all enjoyed themselves. And that's always what it's about.
That's fantastic. Absolutely.
Ted, we got to capitalize on this.
Millie's in the chat saying loving the merch and she wants a shirt. Because you asked, Millie, just DM and send us a message like what size you want, and we'll hook you up with our logo shirt. Like no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm gonna go ahead and send you a shirt just because you were cool enough to ask, and I swear we didn't set this up, y'all. I swear. I'm not paying her under the table to make that comment. She really said it, and I'm like, cool, you'll get it. Send us a message.
It's a cool logo, man. It's a cool logo.
Cool logo put together by Joe Garcia. Joe Garcia, who's killing it in the sports podcast game. And
nice.
We hang out every now and then.
Need pins, Ted. We need pins.
We do need pins. I agree for sure. We need pins.
You know how expensive the pin game is these days, especially around like Fiesta. Oh my god!
Oh, for sure, man.
Dude.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Hey, there's a guy I follow on Instagram who does.
Of course, Ray knows the guy.
Dude, he does Power Ranger pins that are freaking sick. I mean, he's done the Mighty Morphin. He's done. I mean, I gotta find his picture. I'll post it on our thing. But his stuff is just phenomenal. Oh, nice, Ted. You got the stuff.
Yeah, you said helmets. I'm like, no, I did not see the helmets. Where are those at?
No, they're masked, but they look like helmets.
They're really detailed.
Good quality little masks.
Those do look so much better than we ever had as kids. Like, and that annoys me so much.
Even the visors, exactly. I was gonna bring that up instead of just little blacked out plastic with holes in it.
Ooh,
they get a whole visor with these.
With your good toys.
Dude, can you imagine if they do the full costume? I mean, that's just a mask. I mean, they didn't even introduce
the whole costume. They have to by Halloween.
Oh my god, I had a White Ranger costume as a kid. I completely forgot about that until now. I totally did. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it is cool, man. Like if I had that as a young kid, and this is the thing, they're doing it with Transformers by making the toys for the younger kids, and so the parents can go enjoy. Because you think about it, if you had a kid growing up and you had to sit down and watch Barney and listen to that music over and over, it was nerve wracking. But if you have to sit down and watch Power Rangers with your kid and you actually watched it growing up, it's not going to be as annoying as, you know what I mean? So it's kind of, you get to enjoy it with your kid and you're not going to be like, oh my God, you know?
Right.
Smaller coins.
Local smaller cons just have a different vibe than huge ones. More fulfilling. You can tell the staff cares. Absolutely, bro. And it's great for families that don't really care for the con experience. Sometimes those big ones are stressful. I've been there. We've all been there. We've gone to a con. You don't get answers. You don't know where stuff is. Stuff's not. It could be crazy. I've missed panels at major cons because they don't have signs or they say something like it's a VIP only and it's not. And I've missed some of like my favorite movie stars that I've wanted to see because just the information's not there. So no, it's absolutely fantastic. Morphinominal just runs so well. The entire staff is fantastic. Everybody cares. All the vendors care to be there. The vendors are having a good time.
Yeah.
Everybody's just in it for the experience and to have a great time. And so, yeah, if you haven't been before or if you've always been hesitant about going to a convention, this is a great way to get that whole experience and just be a part of a community because that's what it is. Power Rangers community, they're fantastic. And when you can come out and celebrate it together in this setting, it's just for the best. It really is. And it's just a great time for everybody.
Hey, Muffin. So Nico, I was talking to Nico about Morphinominal, which, of course, if you guys didn't know, he did Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Return with Amy Jo Johnson, did all the interior art. He said he would love to come to San Antonio, but the only setback is he's in Japan.
Dang.
So, yes, the only thing is flights is the only thing that would be a pain to get him over here, but he said he would come in a heartbeat because you know, he loves Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He's a Power Rangers fan, hardcore. But he said, yeah, he's like, let them know, man. If they ever want to bring me down, just let me know.
Okay.
You just need to fly me down, hotel, and I'm down. And I mean, if you guys didn't know, I mean, he did
beautiful pieces.
Awesome.
Art is so gorgeous, man. I would love to have him down. That's something we'll have to look at. I think we could probably make happen in the future for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, that's the only setback, man. Across the seas,
right.
Don't worry. Once I win the lottery, I mean,
once Tommy wins the lottery, it'd be
it's done and done. Thanks for sharing my picture last week on Instagram. Was that you guys, Muffin?
Oh yeah. Of course, Kayla, what's going on? Always happy to share everybody's work, and that's what I like about our show too. Like with vendors and artists, like we treat them just as much as the same as like the guests. Like we try not to prioritize anyone over the other. Like we'll be checking in on vendors, being like everything good, you know. We try to just make sure their experience is just as great. Artists will always support them too, because sometimes they'll be like, oh, here's this art right here, like, or here, take these prints, because we'll be like, oh, that one's cool. They're like taking like, no, like we'll pay for it. Like we know everybody's got their living to make, and we respect our artists too. We're not just like, oh yeah, we're the show, so give it to us for free.
Yeah. And I'm sure the vendors appreciate that too as well. That's probably why
of course.
Oh yeah.
We want to make sure everybody has a good time, and when we mean everybody, we mean everybody. Which is why we're excited that we're gonna bring a little bit more stuff. We're trying to figure out the board game still, or try to find someone that can help run it, because we have no idea what we're doing. We're all a couple of dum-dums with it. We try to read more than half a paragraph and we're like, yeah, so what does that mean? We try to have a friend play with us and we just derailed it so much. He got mad and was like, all right, if you're not gonna take it seriously, I'm out. And we're like, wait, we'll try. And then of course we didn't. We're just like, Yeah, we're just gonna keep derailing. We have ADHD or something for sure.
Yeah.
We just we just couldn't concentrate on. He's like, all right, you know what? I'm just leaving. We can figure it out later. Another time, we're like, oh, okay. But we're gonna have like some video games set up. We're trying to get Rita's Rewind on a couple of consoles out there. We're trying to give more than just walk around. Okay, I circled around, saw the artist, I saw some vendors. All right, time to leave. Like, we want people to kind of hang out. So we got the Ultraman card game people, and they got me over there in Dallas when we went over there. That's kind of why we talked to them, and we're like, hey, I want to come to Morphinominal because they did a turn. That was my first ever like card game tournament in my life. I thought it was gonna be easy peasy. I'm like, okay, I just picked up this game. There's only me and my friend Franco here. He was like, should be pretty easy. Next thing we know, we have like people lining up. They're like, yeah, I'm here for the tournament. I got my own deck, and we're like, oh shoot, we're screwed. There was like, here's we'll give you a free deck just for joining. We're like, okay, cool, free deck. Get a quick game in there. Why not? Easy peasy, man. And then next thing we know, we just got slaughtered from these pro decks and stuff. But it's a really fun game, and it kept us there for a while. So we're like, we need to focus more on that this year. Activities that kind of like with us, it was just on a whim, and we just ended up having a blast. And we're seeing a lot of people just checking out the Ultraman game. Even people you could tell that aren't into like the gaming stuff, or people that brought their girlfriends and they were like, you want to try it out? And they were kind of like, I mean, I guess, sure, just to like please their boyfriend. Next thing I know, they're getting into it, and you're just like, no, I got you on that one. And so like, okay, that's what we need to bring to Morphinominal for sure. And so again, also helps with the family dynamic. You get to play games with your kids. You got the food court for food that's pretty reasonably priced. So you want people to come, hang out and just make it a big hangout. And that's why I like that people have gotten a little bit more comfortable with coming up to us to talk to us. They're like, oh, I've been trying to say hello, but I just didn't know since y'all were like busy or like, like, no, dude, we love saying hello and meeting the community ourselves. Like, that's why we do it. It's basically Morphinominal has always kind of been our excuse to just hang out, like all of us, because a lot of us come from different cities sometimes too. And when we had a more of a different group before they went and go do their own things, that was the only way we could ever come to hang out. We're actually like in our inside old school circle of our Texas Power Ranger days, which is when we were a cosplay group. We're kind of having a little mini reunion that just kind of happened this year. So we're like, hey, I'm going to go this year because I have stuff to do. We're like, oh, sweet. So I'm excited to see old faces, like there's a Cobra Kai, like video essay creator, Strife the Warrior. He's been kind of killing it on YouTube lately with that. And he's coming down, and I haven't seen him in a while, so I'm excited. We call him the mayor of Victoria, Texas, because we went to Victoria Comic Con once, and he was like showing us everything. We're like, oh, do you like the mayor? So I'm excited to see all that, and it's just crazy to, like, as I'm just here talking about this, being on a podcast to talk about it when it was supposed to be kind of a one-off thing. Like the first Morphin, we're like, okay, we're just gonna do that just to say we did it. Like, then the next one we're like, well, that one kind of went well. I guess we could do it one more time. Third one, exactly. Third, this was the third or fourth one. The one we brought like so many people. We're like, that's our final one. Let's go out with a bang. And then, sure enough, we're just like, well, I guess we can do another one. The last one,
the last one. We're never doing it again
until next year.
Until next year.
Because after that, that's when we started like kind of like getting them to. We started getting people asking us like, "Oh, are you still looking for next year's show?" And we're like, "Next year's show? Like, what are you talking about? We're done." But then the more people asked, the more we're like, well, I mean, I guess we have enough of a roster to, if we really wanted to bring them, we can do another show. And then that's
peer pressure.
Yeah, it's how it always goes. The only time peer pressure was ever good. And then we it's exactly the PSA.
That's the even crazier part. It's like...
And so yeah, that's when the snowballing would always begin, because they're like, all right, we'll bring 3 or 4 because we can't do this again. We got other stuff we got to do. We're like, okay. And then next thing we know again, hey, why about we add this one? Or we're adding this one now. Or this one came to join and they're coming free of charge. So we just got to give them a hotel. We're like, hey, okay, why not? Next thing you know, we have a full another one. And same thing with Mini Morphinominal. It's just Morphinominal now.
Yeah, it's just more. I noticed like about 2 months ago, they dropped the mini part. I was like,
there's 3. Yeah, and honestly, if things work out, we're trying to maybe get one more. Maybe.
Ooh.
Hopefully that works. Exactly. Fingers crossed. No promises, but I mean.
All right. No, that's fair.
You never know.
I choose to be excited anyway.
That's
For
fantastic.
sure.
Oh man.
In the spirit of sort of going big and making things bigger for the event, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the announcement giveaway that I kind of teased earlier, and I'm gonna go on the big screen because it's only right. So if you're watching right now, this is gonna be a giveaway that's really near and dear to my heart, and this giveaway that we're gonna do, it's gonna last a few weeks. It's gonna be in honor and in support of Morphinominal, and I'm gonna tell you what it is, and then but first I'm gonna tell you when to look for it. So I'm gonna tell you what it is in just a second, but the actual how to win is gonna happen tomorrow. You're gonna look for a post at noon. It's gonna tell you exactly what to do to enter into the giveaway, and then the giveaway will last about 3 weeks leading up to more phenomenal. All that, and here's my story that kind of tells about how this all happened. Back in 2018, I was attending San Diego Comic Con. I took my son with me, son Aiden, who's been on the show before. I've talked about him a lot. Some people know this story. And my son, who likes to kind of not listen and get lost every now and then, I told him as we were about to walk into the halls of the San Diego Convention Center, I said, "Stay with me, don't leave." And that's because when you go into SDCC and you're one of the first 100 in, you have exclusives that are on your mind, and so you got to go just like a bullet to the exclusives, right? And I had like one or two in mind that I needed to get. Doors open, we walk in, I turn to my right, son is gone. By the way, he's like 10. He's around 10 years old at this point. He's gone. As a dad and a nerd, I had a predicament. Do I go for the exclusive or do I go look for my son who's immediately lost? I went for the exclusives only
As you should.
because
Bear.
I had a decent hunch about where my son was at. So I get my exclusives. They're really quick, and then I actually assume, because I could see a Hasbro booth just a few aisles down, that my son, who was a massive Transformer fan at this time, was checking out Hasbro. Luckily enough, he was. I go to him and I said, "What did we talk about?" The story's going to get better. I promise. Stick with me. So as I'm talking to my son, a woman comes over to us with Hasbro and she hands us a card and says, "Here you go. This is for the signing." I said, "What are you talking about?" She says, "I thought you were here for the signing." I said, "No, we're just here looking at the Transformers." She hands me a card and says, "Well, you come back in like 2 hours, and this is going to get you into our signing." And I said, "Who's going to be at the signing?" And she says, "Jason David Frank." And I about
Oh.
lost my ever loving mind because Tommy Oliver was my hero. And as I got older and you kind of learn about who Jason was as a person and what he stood for, and the fact that by 2018 I still had not met him. So to kind of meet him magically through fate and my lost son meant a lot to me. And so lo and behold, we got a chance to talk to Jason. Hasbro had just purchased Power Rangers, I think that's why he was there to begin with. And so we had he had autographed a number of things for me. People who have been to a signing with Jason knows that like you're leaving with at least 2 or 3 things signed, whether or not you paid for them. He's just that kind of a person. And so fast forward a few years, and I was lucky enough to meet Jason multiple times. I was lucky enough to interview him. Um, every time you meet the guy, he made you feel like you guys have been friends like all along. And he had sent me a voicemail once of encouragement about like how great our interview was, and I still have that to this day. It means a lot to me. But I know that he was always about doing what he could for others and going above and beyond for others. That's why he would sign for 8, 9, 10 hours at a comic shop without taking breaks or without getting a lunch or something. And he'd give everybody quality time. And I witnessed that. I witnessed that multiple times. So, in honor of More Phenomenal and in honor of Jason's legacy, and knowing that he would want to see somebody just be thrilled and overjoyed with a giveaway from us, we are going to give away a 2018 San Diego Comic-Con Jason David Frank autographed print. This was the comic. This is a comic variant, right? We've seen this multiple times with Boom. And yeah, I've been just hanging on to it for a long time, and it just feels right. It feels right. I want others to have something of his, and I know it's impossible now. And yeah, so tomorrow at noon, we are going to have a post on social media explaining just exactly how you can potentially win this autographed item. And it's going to be fantastic. I hope everybody participates, and I hope everybody comes out to More Phenomenal, and we will announce the winner in a few weeks. And if anybody's met Jason, if you've had an opportunity to speak with him, you understand like how he wants you to feel, and how he wants you to have a great experience. This is my way of honoring him by doing this, and making somebody's potential dreams come true. If you don't have something that's of Jason's that's signed by him, that might be something rare like this, then here's your opportunity. So yeah.
That's really cool, man. Hold on, I need to give you an applause for that one. Hold on here. Just that. Pretty cool. Let's go.
There you go.
That's awesome, dude. That's a great prize. Wow.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Ton of people going nuts in the chat.
Yeah, the chat blew up after you posted that.
Yeah, it's just he was the best. He was the best, and I say that about a lot of people, but he was literally the best. And those stories I mentioned about him, all true. And the comic shop that Ray works at now, I had some help getting him there for a signing, and I had left because I had a family to go home to. But Jason signed for 9 hours that day, and then he hung out with the entire staff of the comic shop for like another hour or two. And he never asked for a break. He never complained. He never asked for a lunch or food or anything. And they kept offering him stuff. They're like, "Hey, can we get you anything?" He's like, "No, I'm good." He's like, "All these people are here for me, for an experience. I'm gonna give it to them." You know? And how many celebrities' talent do we know have said that or went out of the way to kind of do something like that? So yeah.
No, for sure.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Robert's in the chat. Can't wait to get my poster signed. It's going to have over 50 signatures by the time this month is over. Bro, what does that poster look like? I want to know what's on that poster.
Is there any room on that poster? It's probably just nothing but a list of just names at this point.
I mean, part of me is extremely jealous, but
every part of me is jealous.
There you go. Beth says JDF is a go. I've met him twice and was seen in one of his in my nice. On YouTube. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got to meet him back in, I think it might have been 2014, because I met him and Stanley.
Oh, nice.
They were in Austin. Me and my best friend, who was the best man at my wedding, and our other friend, we heard like months in advance that they were going to be in Austin for a convention. We spent way too much money buying tickets in advance.
And for
Didn't
Stanley,
care. It was
yeah,
Stanley and Jason
yeah.
and Frank. Yeah, so we left San Antonio at like 8 in the morning. Got to Austin at 9. Waited in line to get in line. We got straight in the line we were going to get into. I had a professional photo op with Jason David Frank, and we had we stood in line for his regular autograph picture and stuff. We did that. Got in Stanley's line. I also met like Kelly Hughes, Sarah Jean Underwood, and that was the same night I met he played Yondu, and I just interviewed him.
Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
I met him that same day too. So I met Jason David Frank. I tell everyone this story. Is he asked when he was saying my thing, he said, "What's your name?" And I was waiting my entire life for this moment. I said, "My name's Tommy." He was like, "Your name really Tommy?" I was like, "Yes." He's like, and he just said, "That's awesome." And he kept signing. I was like, "Yes, validation." So basically, hands down, that was in the top 10 best days of my entire life. So,
Nice.
Those two, when they were together, Jason and you just said his name. Shoot, Stanley.
Stanley or
in all the videos when they're together, they're having the greatest time of their lives.
Yeah.
They're having so much fun, and
Yeah.
and Stan was like just as excited to meet Jason because he's like, bro, you are like the coolest superhero that I never created. Like,
well, yeah, I was gonna say that's why Stanley. He looked at me. He was like, "Damn it! Why didn't I write that? Why didn't I just do that? Why didn't crap? It was right there, and I didn't write that. Crap! I could have been so much more rich right now."
Honestly.
Cedric says met him 3 times, and his daughter Jenna and her mom twice.
Well, I think I met Jenna more than I met him. I mean, at this point, honestly, because I see her almost everywhere. So
once again, folks, the JDF signed San Diego Comic-Con giveaway. Tune in tomorrow at noon for the post on how to win. We'll drop it on cross social media. Let you know how to do that. And again, want to thank Muffin for joining us. We lied to him.
Thank you guys for having me.
A 30-minute conversation.
Hey, I had fun and it went pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed myself. I'm happy to be here, and I'll be happy to be here again if y'all want to have me anytime.
anytime, brother. Anytime. Go follow Morphinominal right now on social media. They got one more announcement potentially that they might drop, so be on the lookout for that because it's already a stacked list of talent, and whoever else they're cooking up, you're not going to want to miss it. If you are a vendor, a potential vendor, you want to talk about how you can get involved, go hit them up on social media or on their website because I think they might have a few spaces
Still got some
open.
spaces open, so if you need to, it's a great place to set up, and we would love to have you there.
Absolutely. So, Muffin, thanks again, brother, for doing this. We had a blast. We can't wait. It's going to be another just epic time, man.
Oh, of course, man. Can't wait to see you out there. I had a great blast, man. I appreciate you guys having me on here just to kind of spew some stuff, and great to reminisce about the Last Dragon, and just I'm going to go watch that pretty soon now.
I'm gonna watch that sometime this week. I don't know when. I'm gonna watch that.
No, but yeah, I got some Daredevil to catch up on now, so I can get the second half of the podcast going for me afterwards.
There you go, brother. Give our best to the team, man. Y'all,
of course.
Y'all are killing it as always. Don't get too stressed. It's all gonna work out. That's just the motto you gotta live by, and it'll be here before you know it.
Of course, and we can't wait. It's gonna be fun. We already know at the end of the day, it's always a good time. So we're more excited than anything. So
absolutely,
hopefully
brother.
You'll be here in a blink.
Hell yeah! And you guys are doing more podcasts this week. Give a shout out to who you guys are going to be with later on.
Well, I know we'll be doing Tokusatsu Thursdays. This Thursday we'll probably just kind of rerun some old Go Wander, just to kind of get people familiarized with Yasuhisa. Plus, last time we did it was pretty fun, so we'll probably continue that one. And then Sunday will probably just be the team. Probably probably me and Adam for sure. And that one just kind of that one gets kind of improv, so we don't never know who we're gonna pop up on there. So,
I feel
but catch you Sunday around 8:30 Central Time. So
there you go. There you go. All right. Appreciate it again, brother. We won't spoil
course.
any Daredevil just yet, but love having you on and come back anytime, my friend.
Oh, for sure, man. Thank you for having me. Of course, of
Thanks, Austin.
course.
Appreciate it,
Catch
man.
y'all
Yes, sir.
later.
We'll see you soon.
See you later. Okay, so I haven't watched Daredevil yet either, so I'm also gonna dip out. But what I can't wait, but I was working all day. I was telling them right before you came on. I meant to actually ask for some time off today from work, but I forgot it was already March 4th, so I forgot I didn't put the time in time. So I'm gonna try to watch some of it this week as well, and then I'll do a review on my channel later on this week. I also got to talk some Suikoden and actually some other news about video games because apparently Acclaim is back. I
Doing
just saw
what?
that today.
Don't say
They're bringing
wrestling
back
games.
reviving. No, they said they're going to be reviving some of their old properties, and they have a few. So I'm going to see. I'm going to talk about that because I know I played a lot of Acclaim games back when I was a kid. So see what they're going to be doing. So, but yeah. So I'm going to dip out. Let you guys talk Daredevil, but I will see all of you soon.
Appreciate it, man. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Peace.
What a fantastic episode it's been, and we haven't even started talking about Daredevil yet. I am stoked. I'm excited. And for anyone in the chat right now, hopefully you had a chance to watch the 2-episode premiere of Daredevil. There's no way around. Well, we'll quickly talk about just general thoughts, and then I'll tell you guys, hey, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and bow out. But right now, let's just get into it. So we are 2 episodes in to Daredevil Born Again. We got 9 this season, if I'm not mistaken. No, 12, right? 12 this season, but they've only announced when the first 9 are going to air. For whatever reason, they haven't announced the final 3, which could mean a number of things, but we'll get into that later on. But we want to hear your thoughts on Daredevil Born Again. So just general right now, no spoilers just yet. But I'm going to just say I'm enjoying it. It's very noir. They don't give any Fs. They pulled some stuff that I would have bet my house on they would not have done in the first 2 episodes. And I'm still not sure how I feel about the decisions they made. Very few or some of the special effects or the VFX look a little bit iffy to me. But dude, I love whoever the fight choreographer is for this season. If it's the same guy as before, fantastic. But I feel like Charlie or just Daredevil is fighting kind of more like you expected him to in the comics. Like he's just doing like every other move is like a spin kick or a flip kick or reverse something, and he's like really acrobatic in the first 2 episodes, and I'm just like, yes, that's awesome. Already got some big reveals of some other characters. Surprised that we got some reveals of some other characters that are new to the series, but all in all, I am excited. I am happy it's back. I was a big proponent for the original series of Daredevil. I feel like the first and the third seasons were the best. 2 was good, but it wasn't as good as the others. And yeah, I'm stoked. I'm excited to see where it goes. And it feels like the first 2 episodes were just a lot of setup, a lot of catching up, right? We need to know where these characters at. We need to know what this world is that they're in now because it's been so many years since we've last seen them. But all in all, I'm excited and I want to hear what you think, Ray.
Dude, without giving spoilers, but dude, it's just so much to take in. The first episode then jumps forward, but okay. I don't know. I'm just taking what's going on currently amongst the world. Don't you just notice how they have a mural of Kingpin and it says King on it? It just so ironic and craziness. Either way, that's just one piece. If you ever saw Above the Law with Steven Seagal back in the day, when he would
No, I haven't.
fight, you never saw Above the Law?
Unfortunately, no.
Dude, like every fight that Seagal was doing, this is just one. It's not even a spoiler. It's just a fight scene. If you punched at him, he would literally break the arm, like literally, like they would show it like a break. And when I saw that take place in this, I was like, wow, they're doing that. I was like, we haven't seen something like that in a martial arts show. I haven't in a long, long time. So I was like, okay, I like what we're getting. It's more. Well, I mean, it's to me, it's the same goriness that we had before, but with this level up,
Yeah,
a little bit.
it's it feels slightly more brutal. Punisher was always more brutal than Daredevil, and I don't think as many people saw
Yeah.
Punisher. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I agree. That's pretty much what I was gonna say. It's like the two worlds are together, and which, okay, supposedly what I've heard is supposed to this is taking place pre-blip, so the blip hasn't happened yet. That's what I heard.
No,
Is
that
that
can't be
correct?
right.
That's what they stated. That's what I had heard. I've heard. I'm not sure, 100% sure, but supposedly this is taking place pre-blip before everybody disappears, and then which means
They can't.
that's pre-She-Hulk.
No. They can't because doesn't Hawkeye take place after Blip? Yeah.
No, it's actually taking place like I think before the blip.
Okay.
Because in Hawkeye, because remember we see Bishop, it happens like after what is it? The war in New York. Because when she's like a kid and she sees Hawkeye jump off the building backwards. So it takes place a couple of years after that. So it's kind of mid.
I gotta look.
So
I gotta look
it's
this up.
yeah, I mean it's I like what they're doing. I like how they're incorporating certain parts. So part of me is wondering, are we going to see this first episode that we're getting this, and then what we see after is going to be what happens after? Because it talks about Echo, because it's pre-Echo, and it talks about where he got shot in the face.
That's post Echo.
You know, well,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying. After Echo, it's taking place right after Echo as well. So I mean, it's pretty cool. I like how the order they're kind of doing it in.
I'm researching this because the thing that has always sort of got me really curious is that, Kingpin got out of jail like really easily. And
Oh, doesn't that sound
there was
familiar?
never there was never really like an explanation on how he got out, but fans and I think it was sort of hinted at that because of the blip, there was complications or just things got really complicated with either, I don't know, the jail system or the judicial system or something like that. So I think that this definitely takes place. This definitely
I think
takes
it
place
is
after She-Hulk and Echo.
Well, no, because it also, it takes place after Echo. But if you think about it, in Hawkeye, remember
and
the jumpsuit mafia?
Okay. Oh yeah.
We get a piece of that. You know what I mean? So it takes place in Hawkeye, the jumpsuit mafias. So I mean, there's a lot. I mean, a lot to take in, and kind of want to go back now. I want to go back and watch, Hawkeye again, and watch Echo again now, just so I can kind of fill those gaps. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this
and see
definitely
what's going to tie.
This definitely takes place. It's either 20. No, this is way after the blip. The blip was 2018, and so this is way after the blip because Echo happens around like 2025 ish, I think, and we see the the post credit scene of Echo is Kingpin getting the idea of running for mayor of New York. So that this kind of ties into that, which yeah, pretty sure we got the announcement that the show is coming when Echo was announced. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. But it's so crazy that these projects happen so far from each other that we don't feel like there's any connective tissue anymore. And we really had that in the past. It felt like we had that in the past. Every movie led to the next one, or there would be something motivation tied to the next character, and we've kind of lost that, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, so this one is definitely after Echo, and Echo's way after the blip, and so we're definitely post blip here. Also because I always had it in my mind that the blip helped Kingpin somehow get out of prison. Because at the end of season 3 of Daredevil, he was definitely going to prison. Him and his wife. But they're out.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah.
All right. So this is going to be the part of the review where we start talking about spoilers. So anyone watching this right now, you have been warned. And I'm also putting it in the text at the bottom. Spoilers. Probably not a lot of folks watched it right when we did, because we watched it as soon as it dropped, and then we immediately started our stream. And there's a lot of folks watching our stream. So unless you were like us and you were watching it as soon as it dropped, probably a lot of folks missed it. Hey, Tommy and Muffin missed it. So, all right, spoilers. 3, 2, 1. How in the hell are they going to kill Foggy?
Dude, okay.
This is like
First of
killing
all-
Han Solo in episode 7 all over again. Have you not learned, Disney? Have you not learned?
But even that, we get freaking Bullseye first episodes. Like, not even introducing him to getting in. He's already pre there. And it's just like, wow, that quick like that. And then, don't get me wrong, fight scene was great. Like, between the two of them, throwing it down, that was just nuts. It was just them going back and forth at each other. And not only that, dude, he was like literally killing everybody that was in his way.
Yeah. That felt very what's the Batman story? The Killing, not, is it The Killing Joke? Where the one where Joker's going through the amusement park, like murdering everybody that comes.
Oh, yeah.
Is it? I don't know if it's The Killing Joke or the Man Who Laughs Last, something like that, right?
I think so, yeah, because there was an animated series about it too.
Yeah,
where he's going throughout the park, and that's where Batman like kind of goes crazy
that
too.
felt very much like the Joker in
Yeah.
that sort of situation where he's Bullseye's just he's trying to escape through this bar that's tied to this apartment complex. I don't know how that works out. New York City, baby. And anybody
Yeah.
who's just around gets a knife or a dagger, or he hit a woman with a cue ball, and I don't know if she's okay. I think
Yeah.
even those folks that were around the pool table, they unfortunately probably met their demise. So yeah, it felt very much like he was just this unstoppable chaos. And I'm hoping we find out what the motivations were, but it doesn't seem like Matt Murdock cares anymore, right? He's not out there looking to find out why Bullseye decided to kill Foggy Nelson out of the blue. I know that Foggy was working on a case. He had an individual, a person of interest who he was hiding. It could have all just been a ruse, though. Like that person was either always a plant, or Bullseye just used him at that moment to find out where Nelson was. But it could easily have been he was always a plant, like put there intentionally. Whatever was surrounding that individual that Nelson was involved with just all made up. It almost, unless we get an explanation, it almost feels like a cop out. It almost feels like a, I don't know, we could pay you for another person to bring back, or maybe he had scheduling conflicts and we couldn't have him for the whole season, so we just decided to kill him or something. And that doesn't seem right, but I also just don't think we're going to get a satisfying explanation. I mean, because the focus is now shifted. It's been a year since Nelson has died, and now the focus is Kingpin is mayor, and him and Matt have this sort of unspoken truce, but also by the end of episode 2, we kind of figure out Kingpin hasn't really changed all that much. Fisk is who he has always been. He's and so yeah, it's I will say that's the only thing that doesn't sit with me well, is that Nelson's already been removed from the story. And there's no twist coming. There's no resurrection, in the future. Like, clearly everybody around him has mourned and their lives have been changed forever. It just feels, unless we figure out a solid reason that serves the story or serves something, the plot, I don't know if it's going to sit well with me that Nelson is already gone.
So, I gotta
Uh-oh.
bring this up.
Go for it.
Did you hear we can't have people running around in suits in New York?
He said
And they talk about spikes, and he mentioned Spider-Man.
He said Spider-Man. He also mentioned Punisher. Punisher's still going around.
Yep.
He did do all that.
Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh man, we got Spidey. So, okay, if you grew up, don't get me wrong, Daredevil, Kingpin, yeah, great. But if you grew up in the 80s watching Spider-Man, Spider-Man was also kind of, Kingpin was Spider-Man's villain at that point too in the cartoon series.
Mm.
So you saw a lot of Kingpin Spider-Man stuff back and forth. So, dude, I would love to see us. I mean, dude, everybody wants to see Spider-Man Wolverine, Spider-Man Deadpool. I mean, the it's limitless what they could do with Spidey. And now, of course, and Sony still owns them, but either way, to see Kingpin and everybody, that would be great. But even that, to see Daredevil and Spidey together as well, because we did see them. Spoilers if you haven't watched Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, you do see Daredevil, in that series as well. And he does throw down with Spidey. So, mind you, this is a pre-Ultimate Universe kind of. But it's still great seeing the two. And of course, when you see Daredevil in that series, he is wearing a black and red suit. So it's a multiverse, but to me, it talks about the Accord. There's little Easter eggs here and there. But it's a great series. This itself, there's a lot of things that we saw in the series as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure you see in one scene, you see one gentleman have a tattoo here with the Punisher logo on it. And I was kind of wondering what was up with that. You know what I mean? I wanted to know, like,
it feels like followers, right?
Oh, you think that's what it is?
Yeah, it feels like there's this sort of subgroup of, because these are all police officers, right?
Yeah.
Is what it sounds like. So it sounds like there's this like sub faction that are either followers, because I don't think Punisher's actually calling shots or like organized some sort of faction in the police force. So I think it just is just a group of followers of him. And every comic book character's had followers, and even Batman, he's had people that have gone to kind of have their own vigilante justice in his name, and so it doesn't always work out well. So
True.
I think that's gonna have to get corrected eventually. I'm gonna just drop out and come back in real quick. So say
Okay.
something else, and then I'm gonna fix my camera here.
Okay, guys. In this Daredevil, please, you get to see portrayals of Kingpin that if you saw Echo, you saw things a little bit kind of where he was wanting to change, but then he's back to his normal self here. But at the same time, the the way they're portraying him is it's kind of crazy. Seeing him, it's just it seems like you're watching real world portrayal of somebody that we see in the news. And Kingpin, and then the other thing is that we get Gandolfini's son in this series, which was freaking awesome. Um, and it's kind of like the way he thinks is different than the way the person that's supposed to assist the mayor thinks. It's like two different genres of thinking. He thinks more like, oh, it's cool to be like this. I mean, it's so crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that?
Which part? And I don't know why my camera just did this right now. This only happens like once every few months.
Well, Gandolfini's son is in this movie. I mean, the show, and
Yeah.
he plays like I guess his assistant, one of his assistants.
Yeah,
When
it
he's
feels like that.
yeah, but you see how the difference between the two, the one that he hired and he's paying money to help him, that she's helped mayors before, and he's just I guess some like an internish that they're paying little money to. So, but the way he thinks is so different.
I haven't really focused on that character a whole lot yet. I
It's
know
dude.
that. Go ahead.
I have a feeling he's gonna fire that girl and make him his lead assistant.
Oh yeah.
That's my theory.
So, are you talking about Gandolfini's son or the taller guy with the slick back hair?
No, Gandolfini's son. Yeah, that's who I think will take the lead assistant role.
Gotcha.
The other guy I think is like a security guy, I think.
Could be a security guy, although he's feels like he's also in some of the plotting of the mayor duties, so he might be some sort of like consultant or something like that.
True.
Yeah. I'm surprised we already find out who the White Tiger is.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised at that too.
And I think Jonathan Jordan Medina would have been a good guy for that role, if you ask me.
Yeah, same thing. I kind of thought the same thing too. I was like, see, and I was used to seeing White Tiger in the animated series stuff, and it's portrayed by a young girl. So it's different seeing it. But of course, we're going to get additional stuff as well later down the line, which was the Muse we're going to get later on, which I'm interested in that guy. It's kind of crazy, dude.
So first two episodes, and it kind of makes sense why they released the first two episodes, because a lot of setup, a lot of plot that they are establishing, and you can kind of already see the threads right now, and it's going to involve White Tiger and Kingpin as mayor, but also they already gave us the wink and the nod that nothing's changed, even though Fisk has been running around saying, I'm a changed man, I'm not a violent person, yada yada, I'm not going to kill my ex-wife's new boyfriend. That's definitely going to happen. Yeah, nothing has changed. It's all going to hit the fan pretty soon. But now that he's in this position of power and authority and influence, the game has changed. it kind of makes me want to know, like, okay, then maybe that's the only thing that makes any sense on, again, spoiler alert, on why Foggy Nelson is dead. For the last year or two, Fisk has been positioning himself and campaigning to be the new mayor of New York. The only person who probably would have stood in his way decided to retire after his best friend died. Okay, that does make some sense. But I still rather have Foggy Nelson here. And you tell us something different. Matt Murdock was blipped, and when he came back, Fisk was mayor, something like that. But I guess he can't really do that. It would make no sense because he's been walking around hanging out with She-Hulk and stuff. So yeah, it's it does make some sense if that's what they're going for. See, the writer in me in my head is like, duh, that's why they did it. Okay, fine. That's the only way this makes sense, but that's also like I think it's hard for some people to pick up on because Matt Murdock, he's been retired for a year, not being a vigilante, and we don't see that conflict. You know what I mean? We don't see him struggling with that. We know Nelson is gone now, and we haven't seen him at his lowest because he probably got really low. And you want to see that to understand his motivations for what he's doing or lack of motivations because of what he's not doing. Like, why didn't they show us, fast forward a month, him just like all in his feelings, or in 3 months, and you see like his suit collecting dust or something? Like, I don't know. I guess I would have wanted to see that part. We don't have all the time in the world for these episodes. I get it, but I'm the kind of person who wants to. I want you to show me rather than tell me. And if the reason why who we lost, is to allow Fisk to get into a position of power, okay, I'm willing to go with that. It's not a stretch, but I'd rather you show me that instead of just, this is what happened yesterday, a year later, he's mayor. Like, that's just, there's a lot that could happen in that year. You know what I mean?
See, but also too, didn't we get teasers where we saw Murdoch's helmets, like different colored helmets?
Ooh, I might have missed that.
I mean, it wasn't in these two episodes, but I thought we saw like in trailers
Oh
where
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah,
saw.
for sure. That's gonna happen later.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so where does that take place? When does he get all these different helmets? Is this like after episode 8? Is it like since technically he's not wearing the suit? What breaks him to get back into the? There's so many questions in that aspect.
Yeah. What is it? Because he's gonna have to get back into it now, right? Now that he didn't kill these cops, right?
Dude, you didn't see the way that dude hit his head to the floor with his neck and everything?
Okay, maybe he did. Well, I think he might have like really hurt one of them bad, but I don't think he killed all of them. Did he?
No, I mean, I think one of them, he may have did something where like broke his neck maybe, but the other guy, he threw him up against the wall. Like, I don't know, man, like the anger he had, like he literally first took the hits and he was just like preventing himself from fighting back. And then he just finally, like, I guess he snapped. And then that's when he just turned around and just tore these guys a new one.
Yeah. So I would say that I didn't think he killed them because that's against his code now, right?
Well, I don't know.
It's against his code because that was part of what happened at the beginning of the first episode, was that he says, I lost control, I crossed the line. He said his exact words were, a line was crossed, but that was in reference to him because he threw Homeboy off the roof.
Yeah.
And he's like, I I don't do that. That's not who I am. That's why I hung it up. That's why I retired. So he can't go on the first two people he fights in a year and he kills them.
True. But even that, I mean, technically, how's he going to keep them alive? Because keep them alive because they know who he is, and they're the ones that. Because then now you're just setting himself up to get arrested for. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. I get that it's a complicated situation. I'm not saying it's easy. They don't know who he is, but they know that he just whooped their ass and he's supposed to be blind. I don't know if like every New Yorker knows that Daredevil is blind. I don't think that's a known thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
True.
Maybe the police department has some sort of idea about his blindness, but I don't know if it's a well-known thing. Either
So
way, it's setting up for a lot of future tension within the police department with Fisk, and now Daredevil's gonna probably put himself in between those two. Is what I assume. Fisk is going to war with the law enforcement of New York City. That's what's gonna happen, and I think Matt doesn't want a bloodbath, so he's going to position himself between those two, kind of like he did with Dex and Fisk in season 3. I think he wanted those two to go against one another, but he didn't want anybody else to get hurt in the process. So I completely think that that's where we're headed for the next 10, 10 episodes. 10 episodes of Matt Murdock trying to prevent war from happening in New York. We have to
So,
see Spider-Man, right?
dude,
Unless he's on vacation to Europe again.
I would love to see just like him swinging through the thing. You don't even have to have any lines. Just have him swing through New York. You know what I mean? Um, but okay, so I got to ask, what episode do you think we're gonna get Punisher? Then I'm saying 8, possibly.
Hell no. 5. No later than 5.
Okay.
Right? I think so.
I don't know. I just feel 8 because I feel they're gonna leave us hanging with some type of cliffhanger.
Maybe.
He's gonna get
I
introduced, and then the next 2 episodes.
I love the Punisher show. I think the first one was, if I'm remembering correctly, I did love one more than the other. So I think it was the first season that I loved more than the second, but I might be wrong about that. Either way, like the Punisher series was brutal, absolutely brutal. Is the prison scene I'm remembering correctly, where he had to like just murder like 30 inmates with like a shank or something. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've watched that show, but John Bernthal was born for that role. Yeah. Hey, well, I was gonna say we might see John next week, but I don't think he's coming down for the Accountant sequel. But Ben will be here.
I hope you were to come because I'm gonna take my Punisher comic that I have signed by Mike Choi and see if I can try to get him to sign it. Because I got Choi to sign it, and I've got the actual creator of Punisher sign it. So I want to try to get the Punisher to sign it as well.
There you go. There you go. If you're still watching right now, what are your thoughts on the Daredevil Born Again 2-episode premiere? Anything really stick out? Are you excited? Is it too slow? If somebody told me, "Hey, it's too slow," I wouldn't even complain with them or like argue against them. I'd say like, you know what? There are some parts that dragged. Do they need to be 1 hour? Close to 1 hour episodes? Probably not. But I'm not gonna complain. I'll go with it. We'll figure it out. Stuff like that. It's all good. It's always better to have more than less, because I know people in the Star Wars community always complain about these episodes are only 27 32 minutes long. And here goes Marvel with their like 1 hour first episode, close to 1 hour first episode. So I dig it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so White Tiger's probably just like a wrong place, wrong time kind of situation. Him and Matt are gonna have to team up on this. Um it's interesting that Fisk and his ex are going to counseling with Matt's new girlfriend. Coincidence? I think not. What do
Yeah.
you think, Ray?
No, there's something behind it.
Right? I mean, how many marriage counselors are there in New York City? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The odds of them two going to, and why are they going to a marriage counselor? I thought she was shacking up with somebody else already.
I guess maybe trying to fix the relationship, maybe.
Perhaps. But either way, too close to home. And what happens when Matt finds out that she's got these clients? Because he's gonna find out. The dude can hear a conversation from outside of a building on a noisy city street.
Yeah.
So he's gonna find out, and I feel like he's gonna jump to conclusions really fast, and that's not gonna bode well for him, if you ask me. So again, I said a lot of setup for the rest of the season. That's why they released these first two episodes together, because they're setting up Matt's current state of mind, how long he's been out of the game, Fisk becoming mayor, him and his wife having marital issues, but now he's going to Matt's girlfriend for advice. White Tiger being caught up with these Punisher followers or fans. And now the police department pretty much getting blackmailed by Fisk, and that's not gonna go well. It's gonna get pretty chaotic and crazy from here on out. So I'm excited for the rest of it. If you got thoughts on the Daredevil Born Again premiere, we want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. And we're going to be doing this every single week. Next Tuesday might be a little bit more challenging since we're going to be partying it up in Austin for South by Southwest. But we'll be sure to drop next week's review as soon as we can. It probably will happen either Wednesday or Thursday next week. But if you're just joining us, or if you haven't already heard, we're going to be hanging out in Austin for South by Southwest 2025. We went last year, had just the most amazing time, and we can't wait to get at it again. We're going to be reviewing dozens of movies, interviewing actors and actresses from said films. It's going to be a great time. It's always cool. I tell folks South by Southwest is like San Diego Comic-Con, but for adults, and I mean that. It's really like the exact same thing. With the exception of like it's only for adult things like drinking and dancing and partying, and the conversations are genuine because all these panels and all the topics of conversation, they're important to the environment, they're important to the future of our country, to technological advances, to the preservation of nature and other things. So South by it's a fantastic time, great people, great food, great music, and we'll be celebrating the film side of things starting this Friday. Yeah, I'm excited. Taking a whole team up this time. It's not just me and Ray. We're we're celebrating with a few more folks in the group, and we'll be dropping content as soon as we possibly can. So, want to thanks everybody for watching. Shout out to Muffin from Morphinominal for joining us. We had a great time talking with him. Can't wait for the event. I know Ray is stoked. Tommy's stoked. He's going to be doing probably a few of the panels again. Maybe Ray will get in on some of those as well. Hoping that's the case. And yeah, I think that's it. Anything else going on, Ray? I know your interview with Jonathan Jordan Medina is out, and you have another interview that you're working on. Tell everybody who it's about or who it's with.
So I'm working on getting Bill Allen. If you didn't know, if you grew up in the '80s and watch Rad, they are doing a documentary that they're going to be releasing in theaters for one night, March 20th, and it's going to be a documentary of the film. It's such an iconic film from the '80s, and we had the lucky opportunity to work with Darkside Pizza and help make a Rad Day event that happened that just passed, and this is what we got from that event, which was pretty cool. It was the Rad Day, had the actors, the stunt guys. But yeah, I'm gonna get to sit down with them, talk with them, see what fans have to look forward to for this documentary, and go get your tickets because it's a 1-day event and it's gonna be in select theaters.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. And more coming soon from the Countdown City Geeks and South by Southwest. So stoked. I'm not even like, I have so many things going on in my head, like so many emails to send out and replies that I'm waiting on. Like, this is such a busy event. It is so crazy. And we have a whole schedule for every day that we're going to be there. Like, every minute's getting accounted for. It's just wild. It is wild how crazy this event is. It's almost too much work, is what it is. But yeah, it's all good, man. We'll have fun. We'll have a good time. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Thanks again to Morphinominal for joining us today. We will see you guys next time, and you'll probably see us the next time will be from the capital of Texas, good old Austin, and we'll be hanging out at South by Southwest. For the Countdown City Geeks, my name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this stream is one only Retro Ray.
Peace, guys. We'll see you.
Take it easy.